The last time I came out and ran this Otter Creek Labs Polonium K on the 11.5-inch Palmetto State Armory SBR here, it was ridiculously overgassed. So we replaced the whole buffer system here with the Geissele Super 42 with the H3 weight. I'm gonna see if that helps today. This gun's also pretty dirty, so we'll be testing reliability as well. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. The Geissele Super 42 buffer system is awesome. I'm just gonna come out and say it because I am a believer in this thing. Now this is not a Super 42 in here. Super 42 has a braided spring, and that's because I put the Super 42 H3 in this Palmetto State Armory 11.5-inch AR, this SBR here. And this is the buffer and spring that was in it before. And it made all the difference in the world. The thing is I run all of my ARs suppressed now with this Otter Creek Labs Polonium K. And since I've done that, I've slowly switched all of my ARs over to the Super 42 system, because if you have an overgassed gun, if you are running a suppressor, the Super 42 seems to make the shooting experience much more enjoyable. As you can see, winter has arrived in southern Idaho. It was a bit of a hike through the snow to get out here today, but you know what? It's worth it. The 11.5 is running good with the Geissele Super 42. As I said in the intro, I really only run my ARs suppressed anymore. Well, all of my other 5.56 guns have the Super 42 system in them. These two home builds I built with it. Super 42 H2 in the 14.5-inch, Super 42 H3 in the 10.3-inch Mark 18, and I put a Super 42 H2 in the 16-inch when I started running it suppressed. Well, the first time I took this 11.5-inch out and ran it with the Polonium K on here, it was ridiculously overgassed. So overgassed, in fact, that it made shooting it almost unbearable. You couldn't really shoot rapidly at all without just getting totally gassed out, and it had more recoil than it should. So what did I do? Well, the only logical thing, I waited until the next Geissele sale, because all their stuff goes on sale around every holiday. Don't pay full price for Geissele, wait till it goes on sale. And so I did, and I ordered another H3 Super 42, H3, and I finally took it out today and ran it in this, and what a difference it made. Shooting this thing suppressed now is totally enjoyable. Even running it with the binary trigger, which is about as fast as I can run this gun, it didn't gas me out today. The recoil was less, and the gas to my face was less. Now, how is that possible? People always say that you need an adjustable gas block to run suppressed. What would the buffer system do? Well, how does that have anything to do with, your gassing? Well, the Super 42 braided spring is a little bit stronger spring. The H3 buffer is a heavier buffer, and so what that does is it increases the lock time of your bolt. So it takes a little bit longer, very little bit, but enough to make a difference before it unlocks and cycles. What that does is it allows more of that gas to go out the front of the gun and less of it to come out your ejection port and where your charging handle comes out. And so you get less gas in your face. And let me tell you, it frickin' works. I know because I literally just compared it with this one. I ran it with the original buffer and spring, and it sucked. It was perfectly fine until I put the suppressor on it. But once I ran it suppressed with this, not very fun to shoot. Put the Super 42 H3 in it, and what do you know? Now it's a great gun to shoot suppressed. Now, I have run this gun with different suppressors. I tried it with the Huxworks Flow 556K last winter. No issue with standard buffer and spring because the Flow 556K is a low back pressure suppressor. It's a flow through can. And so I didn't have any issues with gas. In fact, no issues at all, which was really nice, but it wasn't super quiet either. This Polonium K from Otter Creek Labs, much quieter suppressor, but it's a traditional baffle stack suppressor, meaning that it does add a lot of back pressure into your system, which does mean that you get more gas. It is what it is. You can't really cheat that. You either get a quieter can and you get more gas, or you get a louder can and you get less gas. Now, the Velos from Silencer Co. seems to have a pretty good balance of both of those, but that's not what this video is about. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Super 42 system after a quick word from our channel partner. I'd like to thank Aura to continue sponsoring Sawtooth Tactical. They've been with me for the better part of a year now, and I've been using their service that entire time. And the best way to support Sawtooth Tactical is to sign up for Aura using my link down below. You get 2 weeks free if you use my link. It's only $12 a month after that, and they offer you a lot of stuff. I've talked many times in the past about data broker removal. Well, you've probably noticed that there are data leaks that happen. I get, notifications sometimes, oh, your password was involved in a data leak. Well, when that happens, then all of a sudden, all of your information is available to bad actors. And what they do is they find the data brokers that want to sell your information and they opt you out from those lists. But they do a heck of a lot more than just that. So, spam and junk mail removal. That was one of the biggest ones to me. I don't get spam anymore. I really appreciate that. They have an antivirus. It's all of your online security all in one place. A VPN with safe browsing. So you can be on the internet and you don't have to worry. That's really nice. They have 3 bureau credit monitoring. Again, it's good to know what your credit is doing, especially if something happens to it that wasn't your fault. It's nice to know that right away and be able to take care of it, which these guys will do for you. Scam call protection. I haven't gotten scam calls in the last 9 months, and I used to get them fairly often. And some of them sound pretty legit when they're not. I mean, obviously they're not. But I don't get those anymore ever since I've been using Aura. Password manager. I hate trying to remember 1,000 passwords, which you have to do these days if you are online at all. With Aura, you don't have to worry about that. Home title monitoring. If you own your own home, bad people can actually get your home title out from underneath you if they know what they're doing, and Aura protects you from that as well. You get all this stuff for $12 a month, but again, 2 weeks free if you use my link down below, aura.com/Sawtooth Tactical. So I run the Super 42 in all of my suppressed 5.56 guns, and it seems to make a big difference. This is much more enjoyable to shoot today. Yeah, this was a good choice. The Super 42 spring and a heavier buffer in here means that the lock time is a little bit longer before the bolt unlocks and cycles, which means less recoil and less gas in your face, so you don't really need an adjustable gas block. So like I said, I believe in the Super 42 system, especially now, especially after running this gun with a standard buffer and spring and then switching it to the Super 42, it makes a big difference. Now, what is the Super 42 for? It's for an overgassed gun. For me, I didn't need it until I started running everything suppressed. So if you're not running your guns suppressed, it's probably not necessary. It might still help, but it'll probably make your gun over buffered. So before I got this suppressor, I had the Super 42 H2 in my 14.5 inch, and it made the gun not reliable until I got the suppressor on it. With the Super 42 H1, it ran perfectly fine without the suppressor, but it is what it is. I tried a Super 42 system when I built my 300 Blackout, and it was not reliable again. Wouldn't lock back, wouldn't cycle all the time. It's not made for 300 Blackout, especially subsonic. There's a lot less pressure in that round than there is in 5.56. And so I went back to a regular Springco yellow spring in that one, and a carbine buffer. My AR-9 doesn't have the Super 42 system in it, but all of my 5.56 guns do. If you have really short ones, like a 10.3, like the Mark 18, or an 11.5 inch like this, the H3 seems to be perfect if you run suppressed. Now when I say suppressed, I mean with a traditional baffle suppressor, not a flow-through can. If you have a bit longer of a gun, like the 16 inch or the 14.5, then the Super 42 H2 seems to be perfect, again, if you're running suppressed. So that's what it's for. It's not a cure-all, it's not the perfect system for every single gun. But if you're running suppressed, what I've found, suppressed 5.56 guns, the Super 42 system, does exactly what it's supposed to do. It lessens the gas in your face, it lessens the recoil, and it keeps your gun totally reliable and just not quite as overgassed when you're running suppressed. It's sweet. I'm gonna keep this video a little bit short because I am filming as much content as I can before I go on a trip. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do have a suppressed 5.56 that seems overgassed, try the Geissele Super 42 buffer system. I am truly a believer in this system, especially just after shooting this thing today with it. It was so much better than it was with a standard spring and buffer. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. Let me know down in the comments if you use the Super 42 system or if you use something different. Do you use a flat wire spring? Do you use the JP silent buffer? There's a lot of stuff. A lot of good systems out there. This is the one that I have found that works really well for me. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.